Hey everybody, my name is Paul Esden Jr., aka Boy Green. I'm the New York Jets digital reporter for Heavy.com. Welcome to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/BoyGreen25. Now, I know we're in the middle of, the draft just ended and all these positive times, and this story may have just slipped through the cracks for a lot of people in the middle of the draft. So we needed to catch you up. Deshaun Watson, I'm sorry, said what now? Yes. Feel free to check out the full article with all of the details down below. But Deshaun Watson called out the Jets over a toxic situation. Okay. Well, let's roll the footage. That's the best way, I guess, to start this video off. Here is what Deshaun Watson said. He joined a Twitter space and was asked about building a relationship with former Jets wide receiver and current Cleveland Browns wide receiver, Elijah Moore. Let's roll the footage and you guys can hear everything, I suppose, for yourself.
Chemistry with a new wide receiver, especially someone that explosive.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing is really just getting to know the guy. And me and Elijah been spending a lot of time since last week. Really, since he got traded, we've been going back and forth through texts and calls. And then since we've been out here, just really just kind of connecting and just talking to each other. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people think that it starts on the field, but it's really that chemistry outside the field. You're going to put the work in, you're going to get the timing because training camp, you do that every day, but it's really just kind of getting to know the guy, how he feels in certain situations, picking his brain, where he come from. Because as a quarterback, you got to know how everyone reacts in certain situations. And, with me having a guy come in from, you can call it how it is, a toxic situation from New York, I got to make sure that he's straight, he's motivated. And that's what he's been since he walked in the building. He's motivated, ready to work, asking me questions, about me, but also about football. Whatever I need him to do, he's going to do it. He's just like a Mario, very quiet, but, he just puts in the work. So, all the guys love him. He's been a great addition, and we're excited to have him.
I'm sorry. Excuse me? Toxic situation. Did. Throwing rocks from a glass house, I would argue. Mr. Deshaun Watson called the Jets. Let's call it what it is, a toxic situation. Let's kind of parse through that as much as we can. Number one, it's okay. Did things not work out with the Jets? Obviously. It blew over. Elijah Moore coming off that Packers game, if you remember. A Jets win in Lambeau. I digress. Rich Samini tweeted out another, another zero target game or something for Elijah Moore. Elijah Moore responds to that, if I say what I really want to say, people ain't going to like it, whatever. And he did that. Then all of a sudden, that seemed to be the spark of everything. There was a blow up leading into the next week, which was the Denver Broncos game. And that blowup was with Elijah Moore and Mike LaFleur. Apparently, Elijah Moore told Mike LaFleur to go blank himself, and he didn't say blank. Then the coaching staff said, go home, pal, and then they benched him, and it turned into everything that it eventually, he requested a trade, and it got all kinds of crazy. So that's where it all kind of spurred. So was there beef between Elijah Moore and Mike LaFleur? Obviously, there was. He wasn't getting targets on the field. They were winning, though. So he was kind of being a decoy, for lack of a better word. At least, like, teams were respecting that, but Elijah Moore wasn't cool with that, and it turned into everything. So did things not go according to plan? Yeah, that's fair to say. The Jets freaking traded him to the Browns this offseason. But for Deshaun Watson, a guy that has a troubling history, to say the least, and I know a lot of you guys in the comments will immediately say what's on your mind, it just seems like, I don't know, just a hair outside the lines of going the Jets are quote unquote this toxic situation. Let's remember that this is a guy that was suspended last season for 11 games. He was fined $5 million as the result of his sexual harassment allegations, which were in direct violation of the NFL's personal conduct policy. So it just seems a bit odd, a bit weird to say, hey, Jets, you're looking toxic over there. He really went out of his way. They just asked him about Elijah Moore and developing chemistry, and then he went out of his way to say, oh, yeah, toxic situation up there. Noted. By the way, just a little fun fact. We'll get into this more when the schedule's officially released. The Jets play the Browns twice this year. The Hall of Fame game, which will kick off all the wonderful festivities, an extra preseason game for the Jets. Not a lot of verve there for the fans, certainly, but not for the players. I know the starters probably won't be playing in that game. It's going to be the Zach Wilson show, I'm sure, from that perspective. And who knows if even Elijah Moore would play in that preseason game. They also play in the regular season. I wish this one was in MetLife. Unfortunately, it's in Cleveland. But nonetheless, the Jets going to have their chance to get this revenge, this beef out on the field. Plenty of storylines in this Jets-Browns game. But Deshaun Watson, Jets toxic? Really? It's an interesting story, by the way, that Elijah Moore spun, because obviously Deshaun Watson is saying that based on Elijah Moore conversations and maybe some of his own gathering. Who knows? He didn't reveal that. But Deshaun Watson said he had to make sure that Elijah Moore was, quote, mentally straight after what he went through with the Jets. Went through what? Like, I don't mean to call people soft and prima donnas, but what did he go through? Not getting a couple of footballs thrown in his direction? What a whiny baby. I mean, Jet fans in general have flipped. It was Jamal Adams-esque for Elijah Moore. People loved Elijah Moore. They love this story. Connor Hughes did that great piece that the Game of Thrones wide receivers that went ahead of him, he said to himself and put up on his wall or something. Like, that was great. We rooted for the guy. This guy that should have been a first-round pick that fell to the second round. But after all the whining and complaining and not getting the ball, when we're in the middle of a winning streak, the Jets haven't done a lot of winning over the last 12 years. Not a lot. So when they're finally winning, we have a malcontent wide receiver who's whining about getting targets, although when he was drafted, he said, I don't care about targets, receptions, yards, and touchdowns. I just want us to win. Well, we're just winning, and he's like, never mind. Actually, I changed my mind on that subject matter. Whatever, man. Whatever. But it's fine. It's fine. The reason why I bring it up is because, it's so obtuse. And like I said, the full article is down below. The Jets will get their chance at vengeance during the season. Let's roll out the ball. Let's see. A lot of fans are probably sick of the Elijah Moore thing. They don't want to talk about him. Well, we're going to talk about him when we lead up to that game. There'll be those storylines. Deshaun Watson, just know that the defense is going to remember these comments. When they're sacking you all over the gosh darn place, just remember, words, pal. Jets toxic. Okay, pal. Okay. Rocks from a glass house. Anywho, everybody, make sure you like the video, hit subscribe down below, and also while you're down there below, check out the full article where it has these details and many more on Deshaun Watson calling the Jets toxic. Interesting. Very interesting. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next time.